Hello, this is my culinary presentation. As you can see, I already have all the ingredients set up and measured, and I just wanted to go over the cilantro because it has to be finely chopped. So when you get the cilantro, you kind of cut it off to where the stems are right there. You want to cut it off right about there, and you can put that aside. You can leave that for soups or something instead of throwing it away because that has a lot of good flavor in them. So when you're chopping up the cilantro, you just want to get the knife and just finely chop it up. I don't like a lot of chunks in mine. If I get it fine, my grandkids won't get picky and pick it out. They'll just end up eating it anyway. So I cut it up to, I chop it to about right there. And we are ready to begin. The whole cooking, or the actual prep process, I would say probably maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so what I did, I went on ahead and I have the rice. I put it inside of a frying pan. Now, in the recipe, it asks for a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of oil. That is optional. I do not put oil when I am browning my rice, only because I don't like oil. I don't know why it's used. I'm assuming so it doesn't stick. But when I cook rice, I've never had a problem with it sticking. So I'm going to put it on medium high. And let it brown. In the frying pan, and right now I have the stove set on medium to medium high just to start it going. This process does take a while, depending on your stove. I do not like electric stoves, but unfortunately it is what it is. I prefer making my rice on a gas stove. You want to cook it fast, but not too fast, because if you're not careful in this process, your rice will burn, and it will burn quick once it starts to brown. That's another reason why I opt not to use the oil, because for me, I end up burning my rice every time, so I just don't use it. So it's going to take a couple minutes. Now the rice is completely ready. As you can see, it's got a really good golden brown. I try and have all my ingredients ready, because as soon as it gets to this point in this color, you want to start adding your water, because you can see it's still cooking and your rice will burn. So it will get steamy and it will get hot. So you need to be very, very careful when adding your water. And I actually put my computer on top of the stove, if you can believe that. I think I would shoot one of my kids if I see them do that. Okay, so you have got 1 cup of water. I'm going to very carefully add that in. I'm going to turn the stove back down to medium for right now. And then you want to add your tomatoes. And stir that in. And this is what it looks like so far, with just the tomatoes and the water in it. Then you want to add all of your ingredients. You have the garlic, the bouillon, I have the whole oregano, the onion powder, and the pepper. You just want to sprinkle that all on top. I mix it in really well just to make sure it all gets blended. And this way I can tell if I need to put more water in it. And the rice does look thick even with adding the tomatoes. See how it still looks pretty thick? I'm going to add another cup of water in there. With the water, it's really, it just depends on the rice, honestly, of how much. Sometimes you can use a little bit more, sometimes you can use a little bit less. But in that, I'm going to go on ahead and add another cup of water. And I'm just going to use the one that I had the tomatoes in. So I'm going to add another cup of water. Actually, I just added another 3 cups of water. Nah, 2 cups. And this is what it looks like. So after doing that, I am going to get my peas and carrots, and I'm going to sprinkle them just on top. And my cilantro that is finely chopped, I'm going to sprinkle that up on top. Give it a little stir. And then what you're going to do, you are going to turn it, since I did turn it down, you're going to turn it back up on high to medium high to where it boils. And then when it boils, you're going to cover it and turn it. On my settings on my stove, it says low to warm. So that's what I'm going to put it on. And I'm waiting for that to get hot. This is exactly what it looks like. When I get it all incorporated, this is the last time I stir it because it's really bad to continually stir rice as it's cooking. So I'm going to leave it at that. Put my spoon aside and wait for it to boil. Okay, as you can see, the rice is starting to boil. So I'm going to give it just a little bit more time. And also when you're cooking your rice, you always want to get a burner that's generally the same size as the pot or pan that you're cooking it in. Just so that it all gets cooked evenly and you don't have any. If you use a smaller one, then the outsides of your rice won't get cooked. It took me a long time to figure this out, and I actually think I put too much oregano after trying it. This is the first time I've ever made it and trying to figure out. I just throw my spices in, I don't measure them. So this is the first time I've done it, which will be interesting. But my kids have always wanted the recipe, so this will be good for them. Okay, it's boiling pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the lid on it. You want to make sure that you get a very tight lid and you have a good seal on your rice because it won't cook. I'm going to turn it down to low, between medium, warm, and low, and I'm going to let it set. It takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes to cook. It just really, really depends on your stove. So I will see you back in a couple minutes. I had already mixed it before I brought my computer back in. I should have left it so you could see what it looked like before I mixed it up. But here is the final product of my presentation for culinary art on how to make Mexican brown rice. Try it. I guarantee it'll come out perfect. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.